from a burning home on the Central Coast. The New South Wales Premier points the finger at her federal counterparts after a by-election drubbing. Serena Williams lets loose.
You owe me an apology. I have never cheated in my life. I have a daughter and I stand with my card. I've never cheated. You owe me an apology.
As a 20-year-old Japanese woman makes history at the US Open. And Roosters star Latrell Mitchell in danger of missing the grand final qualifier.
This is NBN News with Jane Goldsmith.
Good evening. A woman is tonight alive thanks to the brave actions of her neighbour who helped pull her from her burning house on the New South Wales Central Coast. The 41-year-old paraplegic was trapped inside until Wayne Peterkin fought through flames to save her.
A house engulfed by flames and neighbours frozen in fear. But in an instant, that fear turned to panic. Trapped inside the burning house, a 41-year-old paraplegic woman. The situation becoming more and more desperate. But Wayne Peterkin knew exactly where to go. For only moments earlier, Pam phoned him from inside her burning home.
He said, "Uncle, quick, the house is on fire." So I've run about 5 streets at 100 mile an hour to get here.
With flames moving through room by room, there was simply no time to waste. Fire crews and Wayne, in just a pair of thongs, moved in.
We all worked together and we got her out, and hopefully she's safe.
She was found unconscious on the floor. Tonight, she's in hospital, seriously injured, but alive. Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
In breaking news, the bodies of up to 5 people, including those of a woman and children, have been found inside a house in a suburb of Perth. A man in his 20s has handed himself into police this afternoon and is now in custody. WA police say there is no ongoing threat to the public.
It will no doubt have an impact not only on the family and friends of the deceased, but for the whole of the community, those first responders who are faced with attending a scene with multiple deceased people.
An investigation has been launched into what events led to the tragic matter. For the first time in almost 60 years, the Liberal Party will suffer a staggering defeat in Wagga Wagga in the New South Wales Riverina. While Premier Gladys Berejiklian has taken responsibility for the epic defeat, she's blaming Canberra for one of the party's worst results in a by-election.
For the Premier, today was never going to be a walk in the park.
Morning.
And hardly a good morning.
The people of Wagga send us the strongest message.
That message in the form of a staggering plunge in the Liberal Party's primary vote in the seat since the last election. The swing against it in Wagga Wagga close to 30%. By-elections are tough at the best of times, this one prompted by the resignation of local Liberal member Darryl Maguire, accused of corruption at the ICAC.
There's no doubt that people were angry and disappointed at the actions of the previous member, but then when you put over the top of that what occurred at a different level of government, that certainly exacerbated what the community was already feeling. It was the perfect storm.
The Premier did speak to the Prime Minister today, but no one, it seems, wants to wear all the blame.
Clearly, what happened in Canberra doesn't help the overall situation, but if you're looking for cause and effect, it was local factors.
While the final count may be a week away, Labor is still in with a chance depending on preferences.
I think the Liberals are a shambles at all levels, frankly, state and federal. But the Premier hasn't heard the message. If she speaks with a forked tongue. She says, I take responsibility, but my federal colleagues are to blame, all in the one breath.
And the man most likely to benefit from all of this, Wagga Independent Dr. Joe McGurr.
I'm honoured that so many people in the electorate have decided to put their trust in me.
I want to let the community know that I've heard what they've had to say. They want us to work harder on their behalf. They want us to focus on them.
A former Premier urged his party to hold its nerve.
That happened here in Miranda in 2013. It didn't stop us winning the seat again at the general election. It didn't stop us winning that general election.
And this is where it gets tough, because the Premier threw more than $100 million at the people of Wagga Wagga, and it wasn't enough. What about the billions government spent on infrastructure, hoping that would carry it through to the next election? begs the question, what more can they do?
It will be difficult for us, there is no doubt, but that only redoubles our efforts to work harder.
Hard work indeed. Ed Meyer, NBN News.
And it's time for our federal leaders to face the music, returning to Parliament for the first time since the coup that brought down Malcolm Turnbull. While the new Prime Minister will be doing his best to steer the government into calmer waters, his ship has sprung new leaks during the break.
Footy season is almost over, but for Sharks fan Scott Morrison, the game is just beginning.
I'm going to be pretty hard on my team. That's what a skipper's got to do.
Tomorrow, the new Prime Minister and his new cabinet will take their new positions in Parliament. The government has done its spring cleaning, but there are some old cobwebs it will struggle to dust off.
Tell the people of Australia why Malcolm Turnbull was sacked.
The focus for the Morrison government and for all my colleagues is on delivering more jobs, lower taxes.
Why was he sacked?
I will leave that to you and the couch.
Malcolm Turnbull is gone, and so is his former Energy Minister's power plan.
No one is more disappointed than I am.
The PM is trying to wipe the slate clean, ditching unpopular policies and hoping voters will forgive and forget the events of the last sitting period.
The problems for the new Prime Minister are piling up. The Liberals are facing questions over internal bullying claims, as well as their level of female representation.
Toughen up. That's what I'll say. Toughen up.
And the Labor leader continues to poke fun at the au pair visa saga plaguing Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton.
In case you haven't heard, there's a national shortage of nannies in this country.
With the latest opinion poll out tomorrow, we'll soon learn if voters see the funny side. Fiona Willan, NBN News.
Tennis great Serena Williams has made a sensational spray at officials during the US Open final, calling the umpire a thief. The former world number one was on the brink of matching Australian Margaret Court's Grand Slam record just 1 year after giving birth.
Which is against the rules.
Well, that looks to me like go into the net. Go into the net.
A rattled Serena played on, but when her serve is broken, so too her racket. Earning herself another code violation, which, coupled with the coaching warning, saw her doctor point, and she wasn't having it.
I didn't get coaching. I didn't get coaching. I didn't get coaching. You need to